Hey YouTube, welcome back to Diabo Analytics. Today we will learn about one of the most important functions of Microsoft Excel, Vlookup. I have personally used Vlookup during my university, job interviews and professional career, and I know exactly how to teach it to you. Therefore, I have broken down this video into 4 important functions: basic level, intermediate level, and advanced level examples of Vlookup. And at the end and last section, we will discuss common errors and things to remember while using Vlookup. Without further ado, let's get started with our first example.
In this table, we have a simple table with 3 columns: customer ID, customer name, and phone numbers. And we are going to create a simple search by ID and by name using Vlookup. So if we have a look on this table, we can see that this table has 2 sides, the horizontal side and the vertical side. Now we will talk about the Vlookup formula. The V in Vlookup formula stands for vertical search. So if you want to search by customer ID in this table, the first thing is to make sure that the ID is the first column in the table. And the formula for Vlookup is equal Vlookup. We select the lookup value. What value or number are we looking at? Comma or semicolon, table array. The table that contains that information. We can select headers, or we will not select headers, we will just select the values. Comma. Which column contains the information that we are looking at? The second column. The first column, the second column. We put 2, and after that the last argument is how do we want our results be? Do we want an exact match or approximate match? Make sure to always select the exact match, and for selecting the exact match we can select exact match here, or we can put false, or we can put a 0. And here I'm gonna put false and close the bracket. Press enter. Okay. Now, which customer ID are we looking at? For example, 1201, Trace.com, 1110, Partner Store. So whichever customer ID that we put here, it will give us the result. Now we want to look up the information by name. So we use the same formula, equal Vlookup. After that, we will select the lookup value, which is this cell containing the name. Remember the first rule that I have mentioned, that whatever that we are looking at should be the first column of our selected table. So previously the first column was number, and now the first column should be names. We select the table, comma. Which column is it? First, second. Now it's the second column. What did we put previously? We put false in letters, but now we will put a 0 just to show you that it will provide us the same result. Bracket close and press enter. Now if we put the name of customer, it should provide us the phone number. Second one. Okay. It was pretty straightforward and simple. Let's move to intermediate level. Now we are dealing with slightly larger table, and in real life example we can have a table with hundreds or thousands of input data and information, and if we do everything and match everything manually, it can take days and months to do it. Therefore, VLOOKUP is a very handy tool to resolve this issue. In this table, we have 3 columns, the same as previous one, and here we have a list of information or customer IDs which is provided in different order. For example, the ID which is provided in the top is in the main data source, it's provided in the middle. So the order is different, and therefore we are going to use the VLOOKUP. The VLOOKUP function is exactly the same. Bracket open, lookup value, comma, select the table, comma. What are we looking at? We are looking at the second column, 2, comma, 0 for exact match. Bracket close and enter. It provided us the information. Now if we drag and drop this formula, it should provide us a matching information. However, if we can see there are errors. What's the reason for the errors? The reason for the errors is when we are going to drag and drop it, the selection of our table is moving. As you can see, previously we had a selection from A3 to A14. However, now the selection has moved down, so it does not capture the information above that. The same if we see other formulas, we can see that the table has moved down a lot. Therefore, one of the important action point for us in VLOOKUP is to fix the table. How can we fix the table that it does not move? This is our table selection, A3 to C14. If we select it and press F4, it means that we are locking this table. The $ means locking the table. So now that we have locked our table, now if we drag and drop the formula, we can see that it gives us information. We can use the same formula here, but I will give you a little shortcut for this. If we have the formula in, for example, in cell F3, we can copy this formula and we can paste formula here. But we can see that still it shows error. What can we do? We can go to this formula bar and see what are the differences. For example, the lookup information has moved from E to F. So what we can do, we can move it back to E. The second thing, what's the second difference? If we press enter now, it provides us the name. But we are not looking at the name, we are looking at the numbers. If we want the numbers, in which column numbers are in our table? First column, second column, or third column? Numbers are in third column. Therefore, we change 2 to 3 and we press enter. So we can copy the format and apply our formats. In this table, we are provided with the phone numbers, obviously in different order, and we are asked to get the customer names. It seems simple, but normally, if you remember the first rule of VLOOKUP, the lookup value that we are looking at should be the left column of the information or the table that we are selecting. In here, it's not the left column, it's the right column. Therefore, it won't be possible for us in this kind of situation to use the VLOOKUP formula. The easy hack in this kind of situation is just copy this information and paste it in the top left corner. We can use the formula equal VLOOKUP, the same lookup value, comma, select the table. Now we have the phone numbers on the left side of the table. We select the table. We lock our table by using F4, comma. Name is number 3, the third column, and we want an exact match. Close bracket. We apply formula to the whole table, and if you can see, the information is provided accurately. Now, if you're not comfortable with having this additional information, you can just copy this one, paste it as value, and remove this column. Still, you will have all your information available, but you will lose the lookup value or lookup formula in here. The choice is yours. Now we are moving to the advanced level. Now we will talk about some advanced level examples. If you can see here, we will have this same table, but we don't have the contact number. If you ask me why there is no contact number, it should be much simpler than the previous line. So let's see how it's simpler. We press equal, we use our formula, and as you can see, we don't have the information in this table. So the first thing is we will look up the information in a different sheet or a different workbook. In here, we will look up the information in different sheet, starting with our formula equal Vlookup, our lookup value, comma, let's get the information from table, intermediate level table. The first is customer ID, and we will have the name as well. So if you can see, it automatically selected the intermediate. Why it selected intermediate? Because we went to intermediate sheet here. Now what we can do, we can lock our information in the table, and after that select the second column and use 0 for exact match. We drag and drop. What we can see there is an error. How can we fix this error? And first, let's identify why there is an error. If we see the customer ID is 1202, and when we go back to the previous sheet, we cannot see any 1202 value in this table. If we have 3210, this value is not on that table. So how can we fix it? To fix this error, we will use another formula with Vlookup, which is the if error formula. Bracket open. Now we will use the Vlookup, the exact Vlookup formula, comma, select our table, lock the table, second column, and 0. So we will say if the value was present, bring the Vlookup value. If the value was not present, then quotation mark open, write not found, quotation mark close, and bracket close. Press enter, and we drag and drop it. Here we can see out of this table, 2 customer IDs are stated as not found. Let's just confirm it and see if they are present in the other table or not. We cannot see any of these values. That's why it provided us with an option of not found. If we are discussing some of the common errors in Microsoft Excel, the first that I can emphasize will be the data format. What do I mean by data format? If you're working with a larger organizations and you are using the ERP, while exporting data, some of or most of the Microsoft Excel formulas won't work on that exported data. For example, I have adjusted some of the information here as well. So for example, if I drag and drop this formula and use the exact numbers, for example 1201 and 2365, in normal cases, because it has the formula, it should bring the information or customer name here, rossandtris.com. However, in here it does not provide us the name. What's the reason? The main reason for this is the data type. Let's see. You can see in here it says text. Most of these databases also exported Excel data to text. The easiest way here is just convert them back to numbers by here, convert to numbers. See, automatically we will have the data and information. This is the first thing. The second thing can be first column information. So most of us would struggle with identifying the first column of the VLOOKUP. As I have mentioned, when you are using the formula, make sure that the lookup value, this value, should be exactly the same. The customer ID should be exactly the same as first column of the table that we are selecting. The third error is locking the table. As I have mentioned, while selecting the table, make sure that you press F4 to lock the table. If we don't lock the table or the information and we drag and drop the formula, we won't have the expected result because the table will move. Therefore, locking table is one of the most essential and most important informations. That's all for today's video. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.